Okay, guys, I'm going to be reacting to Fynns' new video 1 hour ago. So let's get into it.
I made Verity out of candy. Making this AI monster out of candy is easy. I can just get a yellow gumball and draw on eyes using an edible marker. But that's just the first version of Verity that we're gonna make today. This one is a lot scarier, and this one is a lot bigger. And everything I make, I have to eat. Let's start with the scary monster version of Verity. Making this will need 3 steps. 3D print it, mold it, and finally cast it. First, I need to create a 3D model of Verity's monster form, leaping forwards to attack. That looks terrifying. Then, I need to use a 3D printer to print the model. Unfortunately, I do not have a 3D printer. So first, I need to buy one. I can do that using Coopert, a free browser extension. It's an AI shopping assistant, much like Verity, but good. And it compares prices across every retailer while you shop with real-time savings. Same printer, cheaper site. Setting up this printer didn't take too long, and the prints only take about 6 hours. After they're done, I'll need to prepare the prints to use them for candy making. I'll need a machine to do that too, and I can use Coopert again. Coopert can test every coupon at checkout and apply any that work. Plus, if it misses a valid coupon, the max saving guarantee can protect your order and pay you a cash reward. These prints need to be washed and cured to make them food safe, which is exactly what this machine does. For buying both of these, Coopert's got cash back for me, thanks to their fast payment process. 15,000 retailers paid out fast, 3 to 15 days instead of 30. Coopert's free, and it's on Chrome, Edge, Opera, Firefox, and Safari. And it finds the best coupons, guaranteed savings. Links in the description. Here's those parts, printed and prepped. I'll quickly glue the hands and feet onto the arms and legs to make it easier to cast them. It does mean that those glue joints are the weakest point on the whole print, but it should be fine. Next, we build a mold box using pinned pieces of wood. A mold will let us copy and paste the plastic parts into candy versions. I cut the wood using a knife, and then use the hot glue gun to glue them together. It's important when doing this to have 0 gaps, otherwise the box will leak and the cast will be ruined. I made 2 mold boxes, one for the head and body, and one for the limbs. I put a lot of extra glue on the limbs box, since otherwise it might leak through the middle. I just put a normal amount of glue on the first.
Okay, what does that sound?
Next, it's time to mix and pour the silicone. It starts as 2 liquids, but when we mix them, it merges together over about half an hour and becomes a flexible rubber material. Once I had the first batch of silicone mixed, I poured it into the first box. However, I was so worried about wasting silicone that I had made half as much as I needed, which means the box was only half full. If the bottom half turns solid before we can add the rest, the entire mold will be ruined. So I have to mix up a second cup of silicone and pour that too. There's something wrong. I'm pouring in more silicone, but it's not filling up as much as I expected. Oh no, that glue I missed earlier? It appears the silicone is leaking through the gap. If I can't cover this, the mold won't turn solid. I tried to glue it over, but the leak stopped the glue from sticking to the wood. The only thing I could think of was grabbing a piece of leftover wood and gluing it around the box, like patching a sinking ship. Fortunately, that worked. Having learned a lesson, I spent a bit longer absolutely covering the other mold box in glue, and then placed my parts in and poured more silicone. Now, those just need to set. While we wait, let's watch Verity edits. Now I need to clear out those molds. I'll use a knife to cut some holes in the silicone, big enough to remove all the parts. The legs come out just fine, but the arms are a bit hard. Uh-oh. It appears I broke off the hands and most of the fingers on them. That's a bad sign. Anyway, with the molds now ready for candy, let's start filling them. We'll make the body and head out of gummy, which I'll need to make on my own. Gummies are made from 3 things: water, gelatin, and glucose syrup. You have to get the exact right ratio. If you have too much glucose syrup, the gummy will stay liquid forever. I'll pour 2 bowls into the head and body molds. Now, for the arms and legs, we'll use hard candy. I got these bags of isomalt crystals. That's how you say hard candy when you are a nerd. According to the safety data, these get super hot when you melt them, over 320 Fahrenheit. I'll put them in this plastic measuring cup and start melting them. A few minutes later, we can pull it out and... oh, the sugar melted through the bottom. That's unfortunate. Okay, I'll get in my car, drive to the shops, walk very fast towards the microwave-safe glass measuring cup, buy it, walk back to my car, drive home, and BAM! Hard candy melted. Adding some food coloring makes a perfect yellow for this monstrous Verity. Now we can pour it into the molds. It's super hot, so I need to wear gloves. It's a good thing I did wear gloves because I immediately poked it by accident. Ow! That's gonna hurt for a while. After waiting a minute, we can pull the head out of the mold. It looks exactly like Verity. Wow, that's pretty good actually. Next, his body. He's looking a little wobbly. It seems when we mixed this one up, there was too much glucose syrup in the mixture, and it didn't fully solidify around his belly. It looks really gross. His legs turned out perfect, but his hands immediately snapped off his arms. That's okay, we can put it back together. I got some fondant, which is like candy clay, and tried using that to combine all the parts. This is where we run into the biggest problem I've faced. None of this candy will stick together. The liquid body, the snapped hands, and everything is gluing about as well as, something that you can't glue. That means we'll have to arrange the parts of Monster's Verity on the plate, instead of creating the 3D candy. Now, time to taste it. Yum! Oh, that's bad. But Verity has another form, a sphere. Let's make a giant version of the gumball from earlier. Here's my plan. A chocolate puffed rice interior, a gum shell, and an icing coating at the top. We'll need... Get some supplies. First, I went to a baking store late at night, grabbing these 2 metal half spheres, which will let me create a perfect full sphere. Is there something behind me? Then I ran to a candy store and bought chocolate, icing, rice puffs, jam, a melon, and gumballs. The melon was for me. I was hungry. Time to head home. OMG, Verity is gaming up there. I'll start by mixing the rice puffs with melted chocolate. It needs a lot of chocolate, so it took a while. Once enough chocolate was in, I added in some marshmallows for texture and some yellow food coloring to get that distinctive Verity hue. That's half done, and the other half was done the same way. Before combining them, I opened up a jam jar. I opened up a jam jar and scooped a full jar into the middle of the sphere. That makes his heart. I can seal up the 2 half spheres now to make my very own demon core. It really does look exactly like a dangerous nuclear experiment. I put that in the fridge for 30 minutes and then pulled it out. Next, we're going to coat Verity in a layer of gum. The best way to do that is with a massive jug of gumballs. I decided to throw them onto a table to count them. Wait, hang on, that's really stupid.
Yes, it is.
20 minutes later, all of the gumballs are picked up, and I got another jug that hasn't been all over the floor. Using a microwave, I melted these down in batches before spreading it over the sphere. I did about a quarter of the sphere before I realized I don't have to use this weird rainbow color. I can add food coloring. I may be stupid. Luckily, I was able to put the bit I'd already done at the bottom of the sphere, so it won't be too visible. Once the gum is cool, we can cover the entire ball with yellow icing. This icing is made by mixing powder and water. Using less water is better, because it will make a thicker, nicer looking icing. I didn't know that, so I used too much water. Because of how liquid my icing has turned out, I need to do something to get a smoother finish. I decided to get those 2 metal half spheres back and stick them on to hold the icing in place. There is a gap now due to the gum layer. I covered it up using cling wrap. Wow, this looks even more like nuclear waste than it did before. If I saw someone carrying this, I'd call the cops. I'll put it in the freezer. Once it was smoothed off, the last thing I had to do was add some black icing. I'll put some in a piping bag and carefully squeeze it out to make the eyes and the long mouth, plus some cheek dimples. And with that, we have Verity, but it's made of candy. 9 inches across and weighs 12 pounds. It's the size of a basketball, but weighs as much as a bowling ball. It's easily the biggest piece of candy I've ever made, and it's over 700 times larger than that first gumball. I will bring that to my dining table and cut a slice to taste.
No!
Unfortunately,
Don't kill Verity.
There's one more problem. The gum has gone rock solid and is super hard to cut. It took a lot of hacking and slashing.
Don't.
First, I'll taste the yellow gummy shell. You know what? That makes sense. I got a nice piece of the chocolate inside next, with some marshmallow and jam on it. Yum, that is not too bad. There we go. We've now made Verity out of candy 3 times, and one of them even tasted good. Thanks for watching the video, team.
Goodbye.